How we doing, traders? Welcome to the SPACs Attack. We have a great show. We got an interview for you today. We're going to talk about a new pattern that we're looking in the SPAC industry. So stay tuned, hit the like button, and let's get the show started. Welcome, traders. Welcome to the SPACs Attack. Welcome back. I hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. I'm going to bring on my man, the brains to the show, Chris Ketchy, in a second. But definitely, guys, do us a favor. Hit the subscribe below. In a second, we'll be talking about our Tesla giveaway. So if you want a free share of Tesla, definitely stick around for the giveaway. We'll go ahead and give you access to it through our Gleam. But of course, guys, let's get this show started. Let's bring on my brains, Chris Ketchy.
Hey,
you already know
what's going on, brother. I hope you had a good long holiday weekend too. I did see the stream that you did yesterday, and also, of course, paying honor to what Memorial Day is all about. So shout out to you doing that stream yesterday. But yeah, we got a jam-packed show today. So
I'm super excited. I'm ready to get into it. I'm over here keeping an eye out on some positions because I'm looking to get into some. So as I get into them, I will let you guys know out there. We know how we try to be transparent with our positioning, especially when it comes to SPACs. On a lot of the ones I did sell out today, so taking some profits. Just want to give that a heads up. We'll get a little bit deeper into it after the interview. But for right now, let's get into our headlines and take us back, Chris. Take us to the back.
All right, guys. Yeah, so exciting show today. We do have an interview coming up later. We've also got a huge June calendar of vote dates to talk about, so we'll try to get through headlines here fairly quickly. But up first, we have SoFi. Of course, that merger completed last week. Now trading as ticker SOFI, new ticker and new exchange today. Last I saw, shares were around $21. But keep an eye on this one. We'll talk the patterns a little bit later today as well. We did get an update on TPGY and their merger vote with EVBox. Remember, this is the one that I said where the company said that the deal may not get completed at all, or it may need to be renegotiated. So the update is that they extended the vote date to August 6th. The transaction is pending that audit of EVBox's deliveries in 2020, and TPGY has the right to terminate or renegotiate the agreement. So keep an eye out, TPGY, that merger with EVBox. We have FTIV setting a vote date of June 22nd for Perella Weinberg. The merger STIC was approved. Will trade as BARK. Now, we do have shares of STIC falling today. And this one's going to be a little different than the pattern we're going to talk about because shares were trading higher last week on that merger vote and then also the approval. But we did get some negative news out from BarkBox over the weekend. So there was a dog that passed away where the owner of the dog is saying that it was due to some chew sticks located in the BarkBox subscription box. So BarkBox issued a statement. They said they were made aware of the tragedy. They talked to the dog owner's parent. And then now they're also issuing a notice to anyone who received that same shipment, and they're investigating. So this is a negative, right? Especially around the time of this merger vote going through. They're not taking fault or blame at all, but they are issuing, a warning and caution around that subscription box. So keep an eye out on STIC to see how much damage that does today. Then we have BSPE, Bespoke Capital Acquisition, completing their merger with Vintage Wine Estates. We, of course, had the executives from Vintage Wine Estates and Bespoke on SPACs Attack not too long ago. this is going to be a wine pure play company going forward. So this is one that's getting lots of attention recently. We'll try to talk about that one at some point later today too. Then we have Rivian, the large electric vehicle startup, announcing plans to go public via an IPO. Valuation rumored at $70 billion. Company last valued at $27.6 billion in January. Of course, traders are circulating the valuation of Rivian compared to a Lucid Motors. Interesting note there that we may see CCIV shares. It looks like they are up today on that news out there. And then we do have one deal. This was a rather strange one, as it was announced after 4 o'clock on Friday, heading into a holiday weekend. We have Voso, V-O-S-O, that's Virtuoso Acquisition Corp, announcing a deal with Wejo, a global leader in connected vehicle data. So Wejo valued at $800 million. They use connected vehicle data to revolutionize the way people live, work, and travel. This transaction includes investments from Palantir and General Motors. And they said that proceeds will help it accelerate expansion of markets across traffic management, advertising, fleet management, insurance, remote diagnostics, car sharing and rental, roadside assistance, payments, and software as a service solutions. So every day they collect 14.6 billion data points and analyze 66 million journeys. So large data. They also have engagement with 17 original manufacturers and tier 1 customers. A supply base of 50 million plus connection ready vehicles. So this is a play, on the connected car going forward, right? So revenue, 4.3 million projected for 2021, 23 million projected for 2022. And they see a $500 billion addressable market. So again, this is a rather large one, and it is backed by General Motors and Palantir. So keep an eye out, VOSO. This one, as I said, was announced Friday. So it did not get a lot of play this holiday weekend, but I would expect more news this week. That's what I've got, Mitch. And then I know we want to dive a little into our June calendar. It is really shaping up to be quite the June event, with lots of merger vote dates upcoming this week and the rest of the month.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that we're definitely going to keep a watch out for. One of the things that we've been looking at is a potential for the merger votes to really start changing the patterns that we've seen in SPACs. One of the patterns that we've been looking for and does continue to see the change is after merger, or even on announcement of the merger vote date, do we start seeing kind of an upswing versus a downswing? Before, we used to have, after the merger, kind of a downward turn after we, kind of a lot of investors start trying to play that kind of valuation game. And that's what we call the fifth wave. Now, one of the things that we're going to start seeing is, do we start seeing these kind of de-SPACs making these big lifts up? One of the ones that we're going to keep a watch out, of course, is SoFi. SoFi has been following this pattern, but there's a couple more votes coming up this week, right, Chris?
Yeah, that's right. So on our calendar this week, we have JIH voting on their merger with Janus International on the 3rd. We also have TSIA voting on their merger with Latch on the 3rd. And then we have GIX voting on their merger with UpHealth and CloudBreak on the 4th. So, interesting to note, JIH shares currently trading at $13.26. It's been a fairly strong performer, compared to a lot of these other SPACs trading around that $10 level. TSIA, that merger with Latch, we're trading at $10.58 right now. And then GIX at $9.02. So, Mitch, I know we had Latch on not too long ago, and that was one that kind of interested me. It's a play on, smart locks, connectivity for, rental properties and commercial buildings, which I think, it's a software as a service, right? They're selling a subscription model to these customers. So I like that one. GIX, a play on telehealth. Interesting to see that it is trading down significantly today. And as it looks like investors no longer able to redeem those shares at the net asset value. And then JIH, Janus International, again, it's been one of the better performing SPACs of this year. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It's a pattern that we're going to definitely watch out for. This is JIH having a good positive day. I'm actually trying to get into TSIA, guys, and I can tell you that just right off the top, this is one that I'm trying to get into right now. I do see a big bidder at that 1050. He has an order out there about 200,000 shares just sitting there at 1050. So I'm trying to see if he's going to get kind of attacked a little bit by this market maker here. Maybe it comes down to 1050, 1048, and then right back up through the 1060s. 1060s is kind of that line in the sand for me. When the bulls take control, I think it's going to be past that 1060 level. And I'm watching to see if this pattern kind of changes. This is one that's going to come into the merger vote. So I'm willing to take a swing and stay tight on the risk side. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, Chris. I know there's a couple more definitely for the month of June. So let's quickly roll through those and then we'll get right into our interview.
Yeah, perfect. So then heading into next week, we have on June 7th, FSRV voting on their merger with Catapult. We have on June 9th, Kappa, CAPA voting on their merger with Quantum Sci. On the 10th, we have VGAC voting on their merger with 23andMe. And on the 10th, we have CCX voting on their merger with Skillsoft. Also on the 10th, we have SSPK voting on their merger with Weedmap. So 3 vote dates set on June 10th. And on June 11th, we have ACTC voting on their merger with Proterra. And then the rest of the month, we have June 15th, FAIA voting on their merger with ATI Physical Therapy. On June 16th, we have CRSA voting on their merger with LiveVox. On June 17th, we have ACAC voting on their merger with Play Studios. We also have HEC on June 17th voting on their merger with Talkspace. And on June 22nd, we have TBA voting on their merger with IronSource. And on June 22nd, we have FTIV voting on that merger with Perella Weinberg. On June 23rd, we have AACQ voting on their merger with Origin Materials. On June 24th, we have FRX voting on their merger with Beachbody and Mix Fitness. And on June 29th, we have CLII voting on their merger with EVgo. So as I said, Mitch, I mean, you can see it here. The calendar for June is filling up, right? We had this huge backlog, right, of these SPAC deals that needed to get done. And then there was some concern with SEC regulation on how warrants would be classified. And this is the result you get now, is that we're going to see on average a vote a day for the month of June. And some of those days, 3 or 4 votes. So an exciting month, and definitely we'll be able to track some patterns. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely something that we need to keep on watch. I'm looking at the watch list right now, guys. I'm seeing a couple stocks up. We already mentioned TPGY, CCIV showing up there. That's one that I'll put on the radar right now, Chris. I'm going to be watching to look for the merger vote announcement. I think that is so vital for CCIV. I think that's when you're going to see this monster come back roaring. So definitely keep your eyes out on that one. Some D-SPACs that are making moves right now. Arrival, B-Fly looking good too. Ride actually up about 2%. So they'll keep an eye on those. Some movers that I did see this morning that was up a significant amount, but now has pulled back. JWS is one that I wanted to mention. So definitely keep your eyes on that one. I'm not sure exactly why I got a good pop this morning, but it was looking great this morning. Up there in pre-market up to 15, now back down towards 1450. So keep your eyes on that one. That's JWS. All right, Chris, let's go ahead and let's do everybody's favorite time when we start unlocking some SPACs and we can get into our interview of the day. When we get after the interview, guys, we'll go ahead and recap and then look at some of the big movers of the day. How can we approach these? Where can we look at some levels? And I'll be letting you guys know if I do get into TSIA. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take us to that unlocking of the SPACs, Chris.
Yeah, perfect. Another exclusive interview here on SPACs Attack. So joining us on the show today, we have a company that went public via SPAC last year. So joining us, we have Luis Campos. He is the executive chairman, and we have Andres Campos, the CEO of Betterware de Mexico. The ticker is BWMX. And as I said, company went public via SPAC merger in 2020. Welcome, gentlemen, to SPAC Attack.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mitch. Here we are. Thank you for having us with you.
Of course.
Definitely super excited to have you guys on. I'm going to let Chris ask some questions, and then I'll be back with some of my own. You guys have fun, Andres and Luis.
All right, perfect, guys. So I'm going to try to ask you guys both questions, but feel free to jump in, you know, wherever you see fit. So I'm wondering if first, with our audience here, if you can give us some background on both of your experiences in the industry.
Yes, Chris, I basically have been in consumer products for all my lifetime. And in the last 27 to 28 years, I've been involved in direct-to-consumer business. Before, well, I got into direct-to-consumer business working for Sara Lee, the direct-to-consumer division of Sara Lee in Mexico as president of the company here. Before that, I had some time with Hasbro, a few years as president of Hasbro in Mexico. And in year 2001, I bought out the division of Betterware, the Mexico and Latin America division from Betterware UK. And since then, we have been developing this business. Right before this acquisition in 2001, I was the president for the Americas for Tupperware, based in Orlando, Florida. Then this is basically my experience in consumer products business, both the distribution channels, retail, and now direct to consumer.
Perfect. And Andres, can you hear us?
Yeah.
It looks like we're not hearing you. Andres, can you can hear us?
Looks like he's using a Bluetooth. If you can, Andres, just reconnect it in the audio and cam. You'll see a little wheel at the bottom. All right, let's.
Well, probably in the meantime, I can tell you a little bit about.
Let me try here. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we're hearing you.
Yeah,
we're hearing you now. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I was before I was in the financial industry for many years, and then I went to study my MBA at Cornell University. After that, I joined the Betterware team in 2012, late of 2012. I spearheaded all the commercial aspect of the business since 2012 to 2018. And then in 2018, I became CEO of the company and have been CEO since then. So I've been really in the industry for almost 10 years now, specifically in Betterware, spearheading all the commercial aspect, and now being the CEO since a couple of years ago.
Perfect. And, you know, it was, you know, back in 2020, but one of the questions we'd like to ask companies going public via SPAC is, of course, you know, why the decision to go public via SPAC, you know, and was a traditional IPO a consideration? So not sure which one of you wants to jump in on this, but.
Yeah, sure, Chris. We chose the SPAC process because it is an innovative and efficient route to become a public company and gain access to growth capital. And it provides, in our opinion, more transparency than an IPO. When we went public on March 13 last year, Betterware Mexico became the first Mexican company to get listed directly in Nasdaq stock market. There's a lot of noise out there about the SPACs, but it all comes down, in our opinion, to the strength of the business. Our business has shown consistent growth over the past 20 years, as well as in the most recent quarter. You remember last year we grew triple digit our sales and EBITDA, as well as in the first quarter of this year. We also have multiple growth vectors that will enable us to further scale in the future. Then, as I said before, I think this is all about the strength of the business that merged with the SPAC.
Perfect. So, Andres, can you give us more background on Betterware de Mexico? What sectors does the company, operate in, and what should potential investors know about the company?
Yeah, sure, Chris. So, Betterware de Mexico is the leading direct-to-consumer company in Mexico. We focus on innovative products to solve specific needs for the home. We offer products and solutions for every corner of the home, from the kitchen to the bedroom, bathroom, and laundry room. We are really the category builders and the category leaders of home solutions in Mexico. Within this category where we are the leaders, we are, a very innovative company. We launch more than 300 new products per year. And all of our products are designed in-house and then manufactured with OEMs, both in China and Mexico. And obviously all of the products with the Betterware brand. That's on the product side. Now, on the way we sell our channel, we have really been disrupting the direct-to-consumer or the traditional direct-to-consumer business model throughout the years. We have two-tier distribution model where we have, in the first hand, we have distributors, and these distributors are small entrepreneurs who go out there and form groups of associates. The associates, which is the second tier, are the ones who promote the catalog from house to house and sell to the final consumer. It is a very disruptive model. We have introduced a lot of technology, a lot of business intelligence into the model, and this has helped us to thrive throughout the years.
Perfect. So one of the things I saw recently was that Betterware de Mexico did their largest marketing campaign in the month of January. And this included, billboards, TV, radio, bus stops, lots of avenues. Can you guys talk about why the decision to launch that now, and what have the early results been from that marketing campaign? Maybe start with you, Luis.
Yeah, sure, Chris. Well, we decided to go into this great marketing campaign because since we already have almost 1.3 million associates, more than 65,000 distributors in more than 800 towns and cities in Mexico, we decided that this was the right time in order to get in the top of mind of the people in Mexico. Then what we are seeing are good results. Our objective is to increase the top of mind and the share of mind in among people in Mexico. And the fact is that through this tremendous marketing campaign, we are reaching millions of people in Mexico and most of the households. This will make it easier for our associates and distributors to reach more households in Mexico, and this will also help to our new e-commerce platform, okay, that we just launched last December, that we have made available to our distributors and associates. Then I will let later, if you agree, I will let Andres to talk a little bit more about this e-commerce platform that we developed over the last 2 years. But we are really reaching most of the households in Mexico. And this is the right time considering the number of associates and distributors we have.
Perfect. Anything to add there on the marketing platform, Andres?
Yeah, well, as you know, and we have spelled out, today we have 20% household penetration in Mexico. So we still have 8 of every 10 homes to reach still. And as Luis was saying, you know, this is going to help our associates and distributor be able to reach those households easier, because now when they reach the household, that household has Betterware on their top of mind. They know what Betterware is about. They know about the company, and it's easier for them to establish a commercial connection. So we think that this is going to help to drive that penetration at a faster pace.
Perfect. So, you know, we see the 20% household penetration. Is there a goal in mind that Betterware de Mexico has, you know, maybe for this year and going forward, of, you know, how many houses can this company have products in?
Yes, Chris, well, our goal is to reach 40% household penetration over the next 5 years. And we feel confident about that because we have a clear roadmap that allow us to penetrate the households in a very disciplined way. Then we have a roadmap for every quarter, every year, and this means that if we are reaching now between 5 and 6 million households, we plan to reach 10 to 12 million households by in 5 years from now.
Perfect. So one of the things I want to dive into here is a recent acquisition made. So Betterware de Mexico acquired 60% of GuruCom, which adds home solution business now to the portfolio. So why the acquisition, and how can Betterware grow that business going forward?
Yeah, so you know, we acquired that 60% of GuruCom. GuruCom is 2 things. One, they are an MVNO business, and the second thing is that they're a technology software development business. In the first stage, which I think is the most important at the moment, is that we will offer mobile and internet solutions to our associates and distributors. You know, we focus a lot on bringing benefits to our distributors and associates so that they have all these different benefits by selling Betterware. And one of the benefits will be having mobile and internet solutions at a very cost-effective way and with very good costs. From there, going forward, we plan to expand our home solutions today to home technology solutions. I think it's too early to go deep into that because we are building, we are in the process of building all the portfolio and planning exactly when to launch. But that will come at a second stage selling these technology solutions to final consumers.
Perfect. And then one of the questions, which I'm already starting to see in the chat as well from our viewers, want to dive a little into international expansion. So obviously, Betterware de Mexico, operates in Mexico, but there has been some entry into nearby countries like Guatemala, where it showed that the business is scalable. And then in a presentation, we also had countries like Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, and Peru listed as possible entries. Any update on international expansion and what Betterware de Mexico could do in the future there?
Sure. As you know, we saw strong results with our pilot test in Guatemala, which demonstrates that the company's ability to successfully expand its geographical reach beyond by replicating our model in other countries. As you know, Guatemala is a very small country. The numbers are probably not relevant to our business now, but the important thing is that we already proved that we can replicate our business model in a culturally similar country. And the next step, of course, Guatemala will keep growing, but our next step will be to begin exploring the possibility of entering Colombia and Peru. Colombia and Peru, as of today, represent approximately 60% of the Mexican consumer products market. Then it's interesting. Culturally, they are very similar to Mexico, and we will begin working on finding the right way to enter these two countries over the next 2 years.
Perfect. And then, you had mentioned we saw strong results in 2020. The company has seen compounded annual growth of 62% from 2016 to 2020, currently guiding for revenue up 46% this year. Any update on how 2021 is shaping up and what the key items are that investors should be watching for this fiscal year?
Yes, sure. As you know, we had a very strong first quarter of this year. Still triple-digit growth in sales and EBITDA. And as compared to 2020, we have a much stronger sales force. As we have told to the investors, we do not expect to keep growing at the triple-digit pace. However, we expect to grow at a strong double-digit pace this year. As we told the investors, we expect to grow at double-digit more strongly in the second quarter, and then in the third and fourth quarter, also double-digit, and end up the year within the high end of the guidance we have given to the market, which means around 50% growth for the year, both in sales and EBITDA. If you consider that we grew last year like 135% and more than that in sales and more than that in EBITDA, I think this will be a wonderful year getting to this strong double-digit growth.
Perfect. And then another question I'm also seeing in the chat here, want to bring up. So Betterware de Mexico pays a quarterly dividend. That's not something we have seen a lot with companies that have gone public via SPAC. So why the decision, for Betterware de Mexico to pay a dividend, and what is the plan going forward in terms of growing the dividend, if any?
Yeah, we have been paying dividends for many years, and even being a private company. And we want to continue with this policy on behalf of our shareholders. And our plan is to maintain a growing dividend from now on. For this year, we are going to pay. We already paid 700 million pesos. We will pay another 700 million pesos the next 2 quarters, and we plan to continue with this growing dividend policy in the future.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the new e-commerce platform that came out on December 8th, 10 days before my birthday. But but I did see there, I want to get a little explanation for those that don't know about the e-commerce platform. How's this going to help attract new customers and build the business? I guess Andres will take it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it from there, Mitch. I think the e-commerce platform, we are focused on penetrating more Mexican households. So what we are looking for is for this e-commerce platform to help us reach those households faster, right? So there are some households who don't know an associate or a distributor, but that do hear from Betterware and they want to buy the products. With this new e-commerce platform, they are able to buy the products online, just as any other e-commerce platform. But the difference is that we deliver the product through our distributors and associates. So you have someone from the company, delivering that product. And this brings many important aspects into the e-commerce platform. First of all, we can deliver with very low last mile distribution costs, almost no distribution costs. On the second hand, we're able to deliver with cash payment on delivery. Cash payment is a big thing in Mexico today, and this is something that we can do and that other e-commerce platforms cannot do. And then in the end, as a consumer, you have the service from the distributor or the associate, the post-sale service that they can give you that service with whichever issue you have with the product. So it's a very special e-commerce platform. It's too early. We just launched it in December, but we think that it's going to help to drive this penetration. Also, associates and distributors, they make their own marketing online and on the streets and everything, and they can share a personal link on their own marketing. So if they reach a new consumer and that consumer buys through that link, that sale will link to them and they will get all the benefits and deliver to that consumer. So it's, we're kind of making, putting in together the e-commerce and our own platform, our own distribution model to penetrate the market faster.
Definitely. It seems it gets you closer also to the distributors, so getting you closer access to the products. Definitely seeing that you guys are using the data. I think this is kind of more of that long-term project. You guys are going to be definitely analyzing that data over time to see if this is really where you guys want to continue kind of leading into. Now, one of the areas that I did see you guys start stepping into is home renovations. And so we can talk a little bit about that area and what kind of products should we be kind of looking out for in home renovation. It does show here that it approximately could be about 7 to 8% of the net sales from each category. So a good revenue driver, but what kind of products can we expect here?
Yeah, so in home renovation, we are focusing mainly on improving the aesthetics of the home for the Mexican household. The consumers that we reach are mid to mid-low income consumers, and they normally don't have the money to buy the real thing. They don't have the money to renovate their walls or their lighting or their floors. So what we give them is very economic solutions with which they can improve the aesthetics. So you can look at products that can renovate the wall. So instead of putting a wall of stone, you can just put the wallpaper that we sell, and it looks like a wall of stone. No, so that's the type of product that we are selling, and it's really coming in very well since we launched this category, and we think it's gonna keep helping to drive up the demand in the category.
All right, so I got two questions there. One of the things that I'm definitely gonna look at is, so it looks like we're trying to be the IKEA of Mexico here. I'm gonna take a look to see at these products, and I understand how that could be, Andres. Middle, lower class, trying to have their home looking great at the same time, not going for that full kind of high-end material, but at least getting the look that they are trying to achieve. So who knows, maybe the IKEA of Mexico. So we'll keep taking a look. Now, one of the questions, and the last one I have, is do you guys use any influencers in your marketing? Are you guys looking at that? Maybe looking at maybe some TikTok influencers or social media to help drive the company. Do you know anything about that, Andres?
Yeah, so we are, doing big steps in the digital and social media aspect. I want to point out, that we have 1.2 million associates and more than 60,000 distributors out there, and they are micro influencers in their own social networks. But at the same time, we are reinforcing, and we are working with the most relevant home economists in Mexico to influence on that category of home organization, which is a category that is also growing. And we are starting to work with people in the kitchen aspects, in the home renovation aspects, that can help us to position the brand and to drive more consumers as well.
Perfect. So before we let you guys go, we do have some questions here from our viewers, watching the show live, of course. So up first from NCAL, we have, what would be a U.S. equivalent to this company? Asking about Tupperware, Amway, Amazon. You heard Mitch say IKEA. It might be hard to really narrow down one company, but what do you guys consider yourselves the equivalent of?
I think there is not such a company in the U.S. as far as we know. Of course, you have several companies in the U.S. like the container.
Looks like we lost him there. Were you hearing him good? Let's bring him back here.
Getting a buzzing.
Yeah, we need to reconnect him. Luis, we're losing you.
So I think we're having. Do you hear me well there?
Yep,
there
we hear you
great.
great.
Okay, so we think that there is not a company that is exactly like us. There's no similar company exactly like us, but there are some companies that play within some of the categories that we have. You can think about the Container Store. They sell, home organization. Although they are a retailer, they're not a product brand necessarily. And you have to understand that we are a product brand. We also we go directly to the consumer, but we are a product brand. You have others, maybe, in Home Depot, you can find some products for the organization or for the home renovation. Or IKEA in the home renovation, although they're more focused on furniture. But there are some companies, as I'm saying, that have some of the aspects that we have, but we don't think there's anybody that has the whole home solution realm of products. And obviously, also there is no brand as a product brand that has all this realm of products.
Perfect. And then another question here from Chris, asking if the company would expand the home renovation side of the business to the U.S. So, with the new e-commerce platform and some of these new areas, is there any talk of, making the products widely available here in the U.S.?
Chris, we are somehow evaluating making some research in the U.S. market. We have not made any decision. I think this is something we should be talking about in the months to come, because if we talk about our business model, I mean, we are a hybrid of personal contact and digital contact. The good thing is that we bring to your home the products, branded products, high quality, very attractive price, and we always have the right solution for your home, okay, for every single corner at home. Then this is something we will be talking about probably in the months to come, and evaluating the possibilities.
Perfect. And then the last question we have, I believe this one is aimed at you, Luis, again, talking about DDMX. So there is another SPAC out there also targeting, a Mexican company. I believe you're involved with this SPAC. Can you just comment on, what this new SPAC is searching for in a potential target?
Yeah, I was invited as member of the board. I cannot tell about this. I have to respect the promoter of this, who is also DD3 Martin Werner, who is the one who convinced us to go into this SPAC. Then I would let him to talk about that, and I know he will be talking about that in the weeks and months to come.
Perfect. Well, we want to thank both of you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on SPACs Attack. So again, guys, Luis Campos, the executive chairman, and Andres Campos, the CEO of Betterware de Mexico. That ticker is BWMX, and the company went public via SPAC merger in 2020. Thank you both so much, gentlemen, for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right, there you go. It's had a brand new SPAC there for you guys that we got after. And there's one thing that we do here is we go to all the ones we don't look at others and try to find maybe higher name, lower name. We're trying to get you guys the most SPACs that we can get to. I think Chris and I have done over 50 SPAC interviews now. And one of the things that I can tell you guys is that it's all about getting that information, right? And starting to look into kind of the future of how this company is going to develop. We've talked about these. At the end of the day, SPACs are more of an investment tool than a trading tool. So you need to look at these companies in a long-term outlook. And as you can see, the growth in this company has been massive in the last couple of years. So you can see why they went and got it out to the public market.
Yeah, Mitch, if you want to pull up a chart here for BWMX, the 1 year, this thing has been massive, right? It's over $40. The thing that I saw in my notes was this was actually the best performing SPAC in 2020. If you take the merger vote date and the performance year to date after that. So a strong performer. The thing that stood out for me, right? You can call this the IKEA of Mexico. You can call this the Tupperware of Mexico, the Container Store of Mexico. People mentioning, Amway and some of the direct to consumer brands as well with the two-tier system. So I really like, the different product categories that they're in, and then also, kind of just being their own thing. And then that international expansion. And Mitch, also, one thing that I saw in the chat, right, was talk about a dividend. So we were able to talk about that. And I only know of 3 former SPACs that pay dividends. So here you have, a company that went public via SPAC paying around a 4% dividend yield right now. So rewarding shareholders along the way, by paying back some of those profits in dividends. So what do you think of this chart though, Mitch?
Yeah, one thing I'd point out is this one had a couple of drives, right? And so one of the things that I'd look at is when I can't see it clearly, I go back and back, further back. So on the 1 weekly, we can start paying attention to see the different levels. So we've had a drive up here towards the 38 off that 27th in July spike. Then we had another spike here in the 9th of November. Then we really started getting above those levels and holding because we went up here towards this 45 and then held that as a new support now. And so a lot of times that's what I look for, guys, that prior resistance to become a support. And as you can see, the stock went up above it and then respected that as a new support. And so that's your line in the sand now, this kind of 37.80 level, or maybe you could hold towards just a 37 whole dollar there. And now we're starting to get this curl effect and push back up. Now, one of the things that I did see is that when we did get this pullback on the push back up, you see how you got these volume spike days. This could have been someone buying off support and then adding into the move, into the breakout. As you can see the spike on the volume. So it's someone grabbing it off support and then looking to see if it could continue and then adding to their move as they start seeing the push above that level, getting to new highs. So now that we got in that retrace, and look how this is kind of a similar retrace. 1, 2, 3, 4 days of retrace, right? We got very similar look right now. 4 days of retrace. Let's see if it can hold this kind of low that we had on Friday. The low is 42.18. And if I could see that holding, I would look for strong volume through the 44s to show that look that it maybe wants to come back up and test up here 49, maybe get to the $50 price point. But this is an interesting stock, has a great trend chart. A lot of times what I look for, guys, is a stock that's continuing the trend, right? And so if you can see this stock, it kind of continuing this trend, as long as it can continue holding and keep going on this sideways kind of linear pattern, that's what you want to see. When it cracks down, it's going to give you an opportunity to come back in. I mean, no stock always goes straight up. So I would definitely be paying attention to see if it does crack this low, you could come back down towards, let's say, 28 and 30s. But if we continue this trend and this sideways up look, we can continue moving on up, looking through those 50s. So that's my kind of technical outlook on this one, and definitely one to keep on watch. I mean, if there's one that can show you that not all SPACs are the same, this is a clear example that not all SPACs are the same, guys. Look into the revenues. Look, is this pre-revenue? Is this a company that's coming out with products right now and making revenue? As you guys heard, over 300 products there. I mean, it's definitely a company that is not just a brand new kind of dream kind of company. It's a company that's actually working right now to continue their growth. And as you can see, they've been growing significantly in the last couple of years. I think that's something to keep your eyes on. I think this is a company that, yes, it's a little bit high to just jump into right now at these levels. But if you've already got it, I mean, I would hang on tight. But if not, look for some pullbacks, because we could get some pullbacks to get an opportunity to jump back into Betterware.
Yeah, and I would say, one of the pair trades here, right? Since this was the first, Mexican company to go public via SPAC, would be to take a look at DDMX, the SPAC also targeting the Mexican market, trading at $9.91 today. Maybe the Mexican companies just are not valued high enough. And that was the issue here with Betterware, is maybe the valuation was way too low. And once this thing hit the public markets, people saw the revenue, they saw the EBITDA, they saw the growth, they saw the dividend, and shares, just slowly, rose up. So Mitch, I'm seeing lots of talk about CCIV. So CCIV, it looks like up about 7% today. This is one where it shouldn't be too big of a surprise, because the news over the weekend was that Rivian, up 9% now. Rivian going public at a $70 billion valuation. And Lucid, it's come down from those pre-deal announcement highs. So now I think it's valued around $30 billion. So the comparison's going to be there, right? Because Rivian and Lucid, both similar. They don't have products on the road yet, but they are highly anticipated EV companies. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a makeup trade here in CCIV in terms of valuation. And then it depends on, as Mitch said, when does CCIV announce their merger vote date? That's a major catalyst that FinTwit is going to circulate, quite frequently. And then also when Rivian actually prices their IPO, when they hit the public market, those are more catalysts going forward too. So what do you think here, Mitch? CCIV getting that lift today?
Yeah, I think personally, I think that Rivian news was actually kind of bad for this company, or bad for EVs in general, because that's one of the most sought after companies, not only for SPACs, but if they do go IPO and they just go by their name, another company that is just watched like a hawk. I mean, they have a truck, they have multiple abilities. And one of the things that, of course, they've had the backing of Amazon behind them for a long time. I think that's a company that's definitely on radar. And I think this is, personally, I don't see this as the spike that's going to continue to move. If we had this spike right on the 26th of April, and that had 55 million shares traded. But right now, you're only trading 8.9 million shares trading. If that big amount of volume couldn't push it through the 24, I don't think this volume that you're seeing right now is going to push it through that 24. There's too many people calling out this stock. And really what it is that they're calling out this stock because they're bag holders in this stock, guys. There's too many guys, gurus out there that are just saying that this is sideways consolidating, because guess what? They're probably stuck up there at 28 and they're just like, can it come up to my number? I just want to sell into my move. But
they're stuck even higher. I mean, you said
there's some guys
28. You might be a little conservative.
I'll be nice there.
The good thing about CCIV, right, is Mitch called this one out at $10, or maybe even less than $10.
That's when you should have got in.
We talked on the show as soon as the Lucid deal was announced. Shares were like 13, or not even announced, when it was rumored. Shares were $13, $14. That's when I was buying. My cost basis is below $13 on these shares, and I sold some, and I still own some. I mean, a $13 cost average versus up in the 20s makes a world of difference. To not be chasing this thing. Mitch, the other one would be SoFi today, SOFI. It looks like we're over $21 still. So, we called this one out a couple weeks ago that this one could perform well into the vote. When it was around $15, $16 a share. Mitch, when you were gone and I had Spencer on the show, Spencer has liked SoFi for a long time. He wants to see them get that bank charter. And he said he wanted to see this thing, trade over $20 after the merger vote date. And here we have $21 today. What do you think?
That's exactly what I wanted to see. One of the things that I wanted to see was a clear uptrend towards the open. Boom, you got it. And then a lot of times what's going to happen is it's going to try to knock those traders out, right? And so that's why the price comes back down all the way to farther support. If you look at the 15, you'll probably see that support just stand out. You see right here, the pre-market support. It went right back to it. It kind of goes up there just to wash those traders out. And then once it washes those traders out, you can see it's kind of been slowly stair-stepping up. And when the last move, it got up here towards 21, $12.99. It actually traded a lot of volume on that 15 minutes. It was 676,000 shares. So one of the things that I would want to see is if we could come back closer towards, let's say, 2140s, 2150s, and then scoop right back up through those 2180s, that could look strong as you'd go for a third resistance try at that 22. And from that point, you could get that breakout through the 22. These are ones that I'm definitely keeping on watch because, and wouldn't you know it, I'm kicking myself because I wanted TSIA and I didn't pay attention to it in the interview.
And now is it going up?
And now it's going up.
Yeah. So guys, it's noon. We're going to have to pause that conversation, but tomorrow let's do more on that June calendar. But guys, you're starting to see that these SPACs going into the merger vote, the majority of them are going higher either right during the vote or shortly after. So now would be a good time to reassess some of those SPACs that have mergers in June. And then also I'm going to work on a list of companies that have announced their deals and haven't announced a vote date, because those could be the ones to play, as Mitch said, with CCIV, right? That vote date being a catalyst. So let's take a look at that on another show. So guys, tomorrow on the show, we have the CEO of OppFi. Company is going public with FGNA. And then we will not be doing shows on Thursday or Friday because we have our global cannabis conference where you're going to hear from CEOs of the top cannabis companies out there. I mean, we're talking Sundial, Clever Leaves, Canopy Growth, Tilray. I mean, Mitch, if you want to hear more about cannabis companies, Benzinga's got you covered Thursday and Friday. So I'm excited to be a spectator and just sit back and watch those interviews, you know, as opposed to my normal day of interviewing companies. So super exciting week ahead.
All right. And the last thing I'll leave you guys off with before we got on out of here, we do got some great interviews coming up on Power Hour, but definitely, guys, check out the Gleam contest. This is our 100K giveaway. You guys want to go ahead and get a free share of Tesla? Tesla's looking good right now.
Yes, please.
Tesla's starting to look good right now. I have a feeling that it's going to start breaking out and getting through that 700. If not, it's all about this 600 price point. But I think, I mean, hey, if you get this stock in the next week or two, you could be looking for a potential 30% move in the next couple of months. So definitely, guys, go ahead and get that Gleam. It's in the chat. There you go, guys. Click that link. It'll get you right to the 100K subscriber. And then we can go ahead and all you got to do is just fill it out. There's multiple ways of winning. And if you guys want, I give you a little bit extra. SLIMERAZ is that secret code, guys. SLIMERAZ is the secret code there to get you guys some more entries and a chance to get that Tesla. I'm telling you guys, you guys, there's someone that's going to win that share, and they're going to be definitely happy that morning. So don't miss out. Don't be that guy that wakes up that day and is like, man, I should have just at least took an attempt on that giveaway. Dude, could have been a share of Tesla. Don't be that guy. We'll see you guys next time, guys. Definitely stay tuned. Power Hour coming up next. We'll see you guys later. Check out Benzinga Pro, $9.97 for the first month with code 30 days. Booyah! See you guys tomorrow.